Thursday, those drivers will sit side by side in row 2 while Kyle Busch and Chase Briscoe occupy the front row heading into the Great American Race on Sunday. Rob Martier, NBC News Radio.
NBC News on KCAA Loma Linda, sponsored by Teamsters Local 1932, protecting the future of working families. Teamsters1932.org.
Welcome in, listeners. This is the James Kane Experience, and we're live at KCAA Studios, 106.5 FM and 1050 AM. Today is a wonderful day out there, nice and sunny. Some people, like in Virginia and other places back east, some of them are snowed in or getting over a terrible winter storm. We love it out here, and I wouldn't want to be no other place but sunny Southern California, and IE, or we can say the Empire of the Inland, or like the youngsters say, the ISO, is having a Valentine's Day celebration all over. Well, if you're not in the IE, you can still celebrate Valentine's Day. And you can find me live every Saturday at 4 o'clock, and I call it the 4 p.m. Insights on www.kcaradio.com. Well, I have a wonderful guest today. His name is Larry Anderson. He's my friend and my elder. And we're going to get together today and talk about some of those practices I've been talking about in the last 2 weeks, because this is February, Black History Month. But to some, it's the history of the Black American. Mr. Anderson, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, there we go. Finally, I got my friend that I can give this wonderful interview. Okay, Mr. Anderson, I hear you're from Pittsburgh.
Yes, sir.
And can you inform our viewers and listeners on how your people got to Pittsburgh?
Well, my mother's boyfriend was listed here at the Armed Forces, and he stayed over there in Los Angeles for about 2 months. So he decided to send for us to come out here and live.
Okay, now, moving on. Now, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Woo, the home of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Boy, it sure get cold out there, and we still in sunny. So I know why you moved to Los Angeles, because you let the listeners know. How was it when you got to Los Angeles from Pittsburgh?
It was okay because, I was like 8 years old. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It was a real fun life to grow up as a kid, But as I grew older, as a teenager, because I became a man early in life, and I did this, did that, the normal thing teenagers do, mm-hmm. And then my mother met another man, and we moved to Pomona.
Now, how old was you when you moved to Pomona?
17.
Oh, so you came out as a young man. And what was the dynamics like from moving to the big city, City of Angels, to this little small town that we know as Pomona?
Yeah, it was kind of way out at first because when I got here, I used to be in the Black Panthers. And when I got here, Pomona was just like Oh man, you wouldn't believe it. Deadbeat, nothing for black people.
Mm-hmm.
Black people in Pomona was living under the L.A. Riot curfew law.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, they had to shut everything down by 10 o'clock. Parties, whatever, shut down by 10 o'clock. So I had met some guys, and I kind of liked 5 of the guys, and we got together and rode down and went through places and things, and visited people, and next thing I know, all the blacks were set free. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it went down right there.
Oh, so you're part of the '60s and '70s Martin Luther King. Well, we'll just say Nat Turner, Martin Luther King, and my main man Malcolm X. And so you had to put it down in Pomona to get some respect and to get recognition as we're here to stay.
Yes, sir.
So how was it? What was the Inland Empire like? Like, did you ever go from L.A. County to San Bernardino County? How was it out here at that time?
Oh yeah, yes. We used to go out that way to clubs out there. They had a very famous club out there called the Edgewood Lounge. They would win after hours. Till 5 a.m. And we used to go out there, people from Pomona, all the time.
Okay, so it's always been a little get together with Pomona and the Inland Empire, San Bernardino, Riverside. Okay, so now, who or around what time did the oral traditions in your family kind of guide you through the oral traditions? Now, because a lot of things we had growing up, it came, from our mothers, our parents, or whoever our mentors was, or, it was a lot of word of mouth, beyond the textbooks. At what time did someone in your family, the oral traditions of your family, kind of raise you and, where that foundation still exists in your life today?
Well, I mainly raised myself, like I said, because I became a man at 12 years old, really. I was 14 in L.A. going to clubs and stuff, you know what I'm saying? When I was 14 years old, I was going to clubs and stuff, So I basically raised myself, I had a few females liking me in L.A. and all that, and they came to Pomona with me, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. So, because see, a lot of the youngsters now that may be listening, that will listen on several of the podcasts, they don't understand that at that time, we're talking around the 60s and early 70s when it was different for men to be men. It wasn't as rare as it is now, because I'm pretty sure you see these young 12-year-olds, 13, 15, 17, 20, and 25, and 30s. And back then, you had to grow up fast.
Yes, sir.
And you didn't have that, that covenant, over you. You had to get out here and really work hard, or whatever aspects or ambitions you had to survive, because it was a different time.
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
When you started in your young years, becoming a man, because I understand 14 years old and all these things, and you have to provide for your family and yourself and whoever's around you. When did faith, God, come into your life? And who introduced the Creator to you?
Could you repeat that one more time?
Around what time did God or the Creator be introduced to you, and who introduced the God that you know to you?
Well, at that time, her name was Ira, and the Heavenly Father, I don't know, it's all the things I went through, you would be surprised. He had to have his arms around me, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir. I know.
I was out there, nothing black ever entered my mind as far as doing wrong to, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It was always the white man.
Yes.
No black. Only thing I did about the blacks is beat up all the bullies. You know what I'm saying? To keep them hurting and messing up other blacks.
Mm-hmm.
That's as far as it went with me and blacks, because black people then, we was, like you said, it's so much different now. A friend of mine told me a couple of days ago they got a terrorizing black group in Long Beach called YN, which stands, can you imagine that?
Oh yes, see that I grew up at a different time. Yeah, I understand that phrase they use YN, and these youngsters, at time, because to me, I think they have a lot of freedom that they think they have, but it's really not freedom. There's nothing free. And most of them will learn this as they get older, that there's a consequence. And someone is fitting that bill. You may think it's free and you may not pay for it at the moment, but that philosophy will not stand. It's because you just gave a sermon on anti-black crime. And
yes,
that's something that been holding us down for so long that people think, and when they speak of us, they always look at, they harm themselves. And
right.
Your time, majority of our people own their property. Because I know, you used to go over there to my grandmother's house, my mom and all them. We all was homeowners.
Yeah.
So I understand.
Right.
And a lot of our youth, when we talk about this YN movement, a lot of them don't own property. So how are they going to be about a city that they can't own or don't own?
Yeah.
So let's move on to something like, how did music, how was the music back then in the 60s and 70s? Because right now I know we have, I know some of this music you can't even listen to. We couldn't play this for, I couldn't play it in my mama's house. I know that. I was just saying now, because these women now, boy, they something else, boy. It's all about body parts.
Yeah, boy, you're not kidding on about that, boy. You're not kidding at all about that. But see, a lot of black people don't understand that you had people like, of course, Dr. Martin Luther King, who helped black people set themselves free,
Mm-hmm.
And not only him, myself, I added 3 more other black men that made sure that black people understood what freedom was. That's Malcolm X, James Brown, and Huey P. Newton.
Yes, sir.
But, because white folks always then, it was referred to black people only because the desolate in the world, ignorant person. So they give it to black people because let's go to the slavery day. Master, the James out there trying to run. They, they snitch it and turn it against their own people. You know what I'm saying? So that's being ignorant right there. Very ignorant. So that's why black folks got determined.
Because they understood that it seems to me that back at that time, during them times in the 1800s, they knew they need to stick together. Sort of like how the Mexicans, the Asians, and I call it groupism. I'll just give it a name, groupism. When we started practicing individualism, it's because who didn't want to run away? I'm pretty sure anyone that's getting treated as they did in the 1800s, 1700s, 1900s, with the Really Crow and everything else, is going to try to run away or rebel. It's because our country was founded by who? Rebellious Europeans.
Right.
And no one, that's a fact. That's something that I didn't bring up, you haven't brought up. So when we understand that that's man's nature, how can we be demonized for doing so? But
my point of view is that, because, see, if I've always been black militant-minded, you know what I'm saying? My point of view was, hey, here you are. You got 100, let's say, not even 100, let's say 70 slaves working for this man that they call it massa. You know what I'm saying? And you got, maybe 10 white men riding horses, whipping black people, get to work and all this other stuff. And you mean to tell me that for every black man they hung, they couldn't off 5 white people?
Well, that was but see, there's a difference there. And at that time, they probably were taken from somewhere, and they were misplaced in something that they never even knew about, and they probably wasn't into all that violence. Now, some of them have. I'm pretty sure there was a lot of rebellions at that time, but they stayed strong. And for them, that's why we're still here. And we be able to be on this radio show, this fine radio show at KCAA 106.5, 1050 AM, to talk about this and the history of blacks, because these are topics and conversations that you won't hear live. They're backdoor conversations, but they're conversations that built who you are today. Is because you're still surviving these things. A lot of this you have seen personally. And that's why I wanted to interview you today, is because it's hard finding an elder that's still around and willing to tell how they seen life and what they went through in these environments of Los Angeles County and San Bernardino County. So now moving on. During all this time and this differences of opinion on what kind of human capital you are, how did you survive? And how did black men survive financially? How did they work? What kind of conditions that they had to go through work?
Well, me, myself, I didn't believe in doing anything that the white man wanted done. That's the type of black man I was. Nothing. When we were coming up, white folks were so tough that if you did not sign up to go to armed forces, your butt was going to jail. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine that?
Yes.
They done beat you to death, but they want you to go fight for them.
Yes.
Come on now.
Right. So
Come
that
on
was
now.
part of the anti-Vietnam movement at that
You
time.
want to know about what I did when it was
67.
time for me to go down there to the register?
Mm-hmm.
I went, knocked me a white boy out up there in Beverly Hills, and stuck my hand in his pocket and waited on the police to come. That's exactly what I did. You know, exactly what I did. I never liked the white man. Never. You know, it's a funny thing. What's real funny though, because white people are actually dumb. Black people are every country in the world fears the black race.
And why is that? Because I wouldn't say all white people are dumb. I would just say the ones who create a dysfunctional behavior towards anyone that's not of the European culture or that promotes I can never say that word, but promotes chattel slavery and anything else that Willie Lynch and all these things. Yes, I wouldn't even call them dumb. I would call them tyrants, because that's the word, tyrants. You know, the person dumb is something that they can't. They designed a system that works today. That's why I'm saying you can't call them dumb, because it's still working and it's working on our youth today. They're going through it now. I wouldn't just blame the white man, because you didn't had Arabs. We can go back in history and see that there's a bunch of people who wants to dominate. People of Africa, people of America, because the Native Americans went through the same sort of ordeal. You know, so it wasn't just blacks. We just got it the worst is because, and I wouldn't even say worse anymore, because now I look around at us. Now, let's move on to our time now, you know, because I understand how you feel. And when you grew up, that would be hard, because of the word and how, you know, you seen it. You had to live through it. See, and now someone probably be viewing and listening and say, oh, that's harsh, is what he's saying. But they don't understand what you had to endure in your youth and your young manhood and then your adulthood. And now you are a senior. And then you still see where they're doing things that is not acceptable with you.
Right.
So I understand your rage. So we'll leave it there. We don't want to, you know, get the people in an uproar thinking we at KCAA raging war on white people, because that's not what we're doing. We're talking, having a conversation with me and my elder, because you are my elder. So,
well, see,
but tell
what
us
I was
some of that.
speaking on was
Go ahead.
The fact that we need to pay more attention to life instead of being jealous of somebody else because you don't have what they have. You know, go to work or do whatever and get what they got. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I want to talk about.
Why you want to be jealous?
Yes.
You know? That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Because you could look at this situation here. Let me give you a good example of how tough the white people are. They always talk about, you black, you need to go back to Africa and all this other stuff. They never, and we have never even studied or thought about studying, thinking about, they have never discussed where they come from.
Well, some of them have, and some of them is because I always say, that's why we call Black Americans. That's why it now is different. It's because a lot of our sociologists and our historians, one I love is Dr. Claude Anderson. A lot of people don't know his name, but he's been fighting for black people to get financially compensated for what was done for us. And a lot of these corporations that's been around 100, 200 years, they benefited off of that. Now, everyone else has got compensated. But we are the only ones in the history of the United States of America that, well, I say Newsom. Now, we got to give it to Governor Newsom because he did come up with a plan. He didn't put nothing in action, but he came up with a plan, sort of a restitution, saying that Californian blacks deserve that. But the plan they came up with, too, I can't agree on it, is because it's about everyone else you gave money to in land. They're talking about work incentive. That's still a part of a system that you won't win in, is because it's too much time has elapsed.
Expired. You're right.
Yes. So
yep, you're right. You're right.
You're hundreds of years at a disadvantages. Yes, go ahead.
I think the last time that it was actually a chance, this lady, she's deceased now, but her name was Edna Scott. She worked for NAACP, and in Pomona, she built, got people off the street that was really homeless, stuff like that. And it was 78. She told me to come and sign up for my 40 acres and a mule.
And how did that turn out? I'm
serious. She said they was giving out people their 40 acres and a mule. And I'll be darned if I miss mine.
Hey, a lot of us have. A lot of us have.
So I think it was 78 was the last opportunity for that. Now, 1978.
Now, a lot of people don't know about that 40 acres and a mule. See, it was actually a general that when he took over a lot of the southern property, he gave it to, and he's told the people that was fighting for the North. But what happens, a lot of that has to do with the New York Treaty. And a lot of that land they took back. And some of it is on the what we call reservations today. And you can see, and if you really want to look into it, you look into that treaty. And at that time, Oklahoma, Florida, a lot of these different, Virginia, the Carolinas, a lot of these people had this property, but they took it back from them. They took it back, and that's why the reservation is so important, is because some historians speak on the reservation was basically because the natives at that time joined the Southern whites and on and on. So when the blacks fought with the Northerns, which a lot of people don't know, Abraham Lincoln couldn't free no slaves because he was not the president of the South. He was the president of the North. So General Lee, that's why that the Confederate flag is technically a Southern flag. It's because General Lee was actually the president of the South. And that's why. But people at that time, that's why oral tradition was so important, and sometimes a lot of it was miseducated, that they didn't understand that. That's why you had 5, what's it called? Proclamation, I forget the word. I stumbled on words sometimes. So it was 5 of them. Most people know what I'm talking about because they teach you in the history books about that. And a lot of it, they just tell you a little history. They don't teach you all the history of it. So now we understand about labor. Now, if you see a young guy today, how would you, other than rebellion, how would you gear him from your foundation of learning and watching over the black community? How could you just speak to him and tell him, young man, let's get back to our fundamental practices and how we became great as a people?
Well, the only thing I could tell you on that subject is that you need to learn that there's no such thing as blue and red. Mm-hmm. The white man developed that to put it where exactly where it's at. Black folks kill each other. The only thing I ever heard of red and blue in my life was the red blue coats. I think, what was that, the Revolutionary War or something?
Yes.
You know?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I've never heard of that. They don't even know what they're killing each other for.
Yes.
They don't know what they're killing each other for. So, I mean, the generations are different. You know, the generations now, it seems as though they're inflicted with something from the devil. You know, because they look like they work for the devil. They're just going around killing people, burglarizing, and they're all black. They don't go where the white people are. White people are the ones that got everything. Black folks ain't got nothing. But they steady want to burglarize their house and rob them and all this other stuff. You know, it's crazy. I don't think black folks will ever get together. I really don't. Me, myself, that's my personal opinion. I don't think black folks would. Now, if they were to get rid of all the snitches and all the scary cats and really perform and get a crew together, I would go today at the front of the line.
Now, with the snitches, you're preferring for the ones who sell out their people, that's trying to make movements, because
exactly.
that people don't understand when you say snitches. They thinking jail and modern times, but it's historical fact that each one, even J. Edgar Hoover, he used black, less fortunate people and probably less educated to infiltrate their own people to find out about all these black organizations. And a lot of it was misguided information. And when you speak on that, every nationality feels the same way. Because, see, right now, most of ICE is Hispanic. A lot of ICE is Hispanic. So I wonder, how does a lot of the Mexicans and different nationalities of the Hispanic and the black immigrants and the immigrants at large feel about their own nationality coming and sending them back to where they came from, and they claim it's illegally. So you're absolutely right about that cause, that maybe that should need to be looked at least talked about, how people are of the same nationality or culture, that when there's a movement being done, they go in and infiltrate them, and then boom, there it goes. The Black Wall Street, same thing.
You know what you're talking about. Yes, sir.
We had a lot of different, like taking the land and a lot of things that we financially grew and owned, and they took it. We look at that, Malibu, Santa Monica. We can go on and on about downtown L.A. Downtown L.A. was owned by a nice black lady. And look at downtown L.A. now. But see, some of that, you're right, because we sell out.
That's exactly the only reason why. That's not the reason. That's the only reason why. Black folks sell out. It's pitiful, man. I mean, but you can take a hint. Do you understand it? Well, I'm quite sure you do, but that's just a figure of speech. That mostly all these things that were invented and created were made by black people. They sold.
A lot of them have. A lot has been. You're right. A lot has been invented, and I wouldn't say stolen. I would just say when you want. It's like buying name brand clothes and items because you want to be better than what you're seeing. Because you want to have that. that's a good thing you brought that up, is because look at our look at our celebrities. Why we don't own a school district? Now, if anyone out there know, not a charter, because a charter is still governed by public school districts. I do not know one of a independent black school district or HBCUs. I was listening to Dr. Boyce Watkins one day, and he said when he was being interviewed to be a professor. Now he's a renowned financial professor. They have asked him to teach in China. Think about this. America's black professor of finances went to China and taught the Chinese kids about finances. But he went to Howard University, and an Asian man came in and interviewed him for a job. Now, how would you feel? Because that's not happening. That's not happening in the Asian community. There's no blacks that's fitting to come into the Asian university and hire anybody. You'll be lucky if you can work there.
You're not lying about that.
So you're right. Something needs to be done and talked about. Where's our black caucus at? I hear that name all the time in politics. But what do they do? And who are they fighting for? Because there's a lot going on now, that's just not right. The Republicans they say some things like I seen a thing on the Daily Show on Comedy Central where our president showed a thing of Obama, and then after that showed some monkeys. We should be at an outrage, and I still don't hear no one's talking about that. We still on these monkey jokes.
Man. There's no heart there, no heart.
Well,
That's what I call it.
Well, I understand majority, but there's this new movement, and it's called the intelligence of the black man. Now, our more intelligence, that's why I say our main spokesman is celebrities and singers and rappers. If we get that concept out of our mind and start bringing in our economists, our educators, teachers, like Dr. Claude Anderson, who's a forensic historian. And it's so sad because no one even knows his name. No one even knows his name. And this man been fighting for black education and black rights. And they know him in the government because he was part of the United States Finance Department. Mm-hmm. And his name, he was so high up that when you came for a loan, he had to have his name on it, and people can look him up. And it's so sad because he's kind of ill right now. Yes, he's kind of ill, and our educators like that, we need them to continue preaching and teaching because we don't want to lose who we are. Because right now we're turning into something that we can't identify with. The elders can't identify with. Now, young people thinking they're doing something, but they're pushing them more and more out. Now, to sum this up, how does Pomona look from when you first came to Pomona?
Pomona, to me, I'm going to tell you the truth. My personal opinion, they need to give everybody 6 months in Pomona to pack up and move out, and so they can blow it up and build a new Pomona.
No, Pomona, it's getting beautiful.
Pomona,
I got to give it to them.
Uh-huh. It's raggedy. Pomona is raggedy, man. It's raggedy.
And why you say that? Because I see a lot of construction being done, a lot of different things, apartments. Now, that's something we can talk about is who's going to rent all these apartments? Because if there's no jobs of values or careers, I wouldn't say it's no job. I would say careers where people is making a living wage, not minimum wage, but a living wage that one person can rent this apartment. Because if a person is making, say, $20, $25 an hour and the rent is $3,500 a month, but you need 3 times the money to get into this apartment, a person making $25 would never get that apartment by himself.
You got that right. You're absolutely right. But like I said, the white man is in control.
And you think so? Because a lot of times we can't just blame the white man, because we got Hispanics own a lot of property, and the white man is not making them do what they do. These landlords do on their properties. Now they get some taxes, and when we say the white man, we mean the system. It's not personalizing.
I know what you said.
Each and every white man. When we speak of the white man, that's an old saying. When we grew up back in the 60s and the 70s, you can go watch old movies, just like y'all say things to us, that N-word is still exists today. So please don't, because I know we're on live radio, not just thinking, oh, this was the kind of show, because it's good content in it, and I don't want to lose the content and my viewers thinking that this is the Nat Turner show. Now, Nat Turner is part of our history. I'm not going to say he's not. And his fight was valid, because we can talk about a lot of different others, Genghis Khan and all the rest of these people in history that we learned in high school. Their plight was valid. So we're not going to take away from Nat Turner. We're not going to take away from none of our elders, not on the James King experience. We're going to give respect, and we're going to learn, and we're going to educate. That's why my hour on KCA Radio 106.5 and 1050 AM is called the 4 o'clock Insights, because we're here to learn. And if you have any questions or anything that you want to discuss with me other than 4 to 5, you can find me at thejameskane.com. And I will return your message, email, or however you would like me to respond, text message. But hey, I want to thank you a lot, my friend. And I know
welcome.
you.
Hey,
I know you, boy. Right now, people are they was like, woo. But we brought the heat. And what I like so much about you, my brother, is that you were honest. There's not too many honest people anymore, and have the bravery that you came on this radio show today and gave.
Well, that's the way people are supposed to be with each other. Black people are supposed to be that way with each other, and we would really be people. That's the problem. Nobody is honest, like you said. Nobody is honest at all.
Yes. And that's what I like. One thing I'm going to tell you, I'm not a Donald Trump fan, but everybody always say, oh, he makes these remarks. I'd rather a man tell me to my face how he feel about me than do it behind my back and design a system and a plan and then smile in my face and ask me for my vote.
Thank you so much.
So
I know what you're saying.
So, hey, man, continue.
He's a fool, though.
Yeah, but he's, I can't even call him that. You know why? Because he's the president of the United States. And even though he is what he is and he do what he do, that office deserve respect. Because God places people where he wants them to be placed. It's our job to find out, like they say, who's the Antichrist? What is worldly anymore? That's our job as people, is to find that out. If you're a religious person, now if you're not religious, then it's okay, whatever that means to you. But these things that are in place are there for a reason, and there's nothing wrong with the office. There's nothing wrong with the position. It's the people that get into these positions. They tend to what? Power, money, destruction, tyranny. Right. What they used to call it, terrorist threats. We remember that word because we remember when that started.
No doubt.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt.
Well,
but let me give you something else before you end everything to get people to try to understand too. They are always like to blame people. When I say white, I mean people running the country. Mm-hmm. And they had all the time we come up, we used to chastise our kids what went wrong, right?
Yes, sir.
Now they stopped that because of the white man. The white man was chaining their kids up in the basement, urinating on.
Because we don't have really. Now I understand that that's we can talk about that privately, but we don't have no no evidence of who that is. Even though we have the Epstein files, so it's merited to what you're going to say, but our time is. I have to go to break. Thank you, bro.
You're welcome.
Keep living because you living a beautiful life. You haven't made it this far. So thanks.
Thank you so very much. Appreciate that.
All right.
Take care of yourself.
Well, I understand that was interesting. It was. And hopefully we learned something today, because that's a 70-year-old testimony of someone who lived through a lot of turmoil, tragedies, and had to endure traumas. Trauma is something I think that we all have in the black community that we need to talk to someone and find a therapist and a way to heal, because inwardly we're still torn apart, and we still have things that shape our minds and our voices that sometimes come out in a way that it seems like we want to destroy everything, but we don't. We just want equality in certain areas. We want respect as citizens of the United States, and we want to be heard. We want people to come sit down in our restaurants and get served by a black man and woman and don't feel that we're, less than. Because we can go in all the restaurants and we eat everyone's food. How to eat Indian food, Mediterranean, everything. Always respectful to their culture. And we're just asking people to be respectful of our culture daily. Not just Black History Month, but daily. Because there are great black people out there, great inventors, great scientists, because one of our black astronauts retired. And when I heard about a black astronaut, this lady's been out in space. And I'm like, wow, why we can't never talk about that? This lady was really live in space, and no one never even hears her name. We have engineers, scientists. We never hear their name. It's because somebody wants us to just focus on the 1800s, the 1700s. Now, let me ask you a question. It's because I just learned this now, educated. And I love the King James Version of the Bible. But why did King James sanction a demon Bible as well? Go look that up. Now, that's information, because I always give something you may or may not know. That's kind of strange if you don't want change. But yes, now, let's get into our reading for the blind today. As you see, I'm by myself because it's Valentine's Day. Everybody, my kids is out. My daughter is with her mate, enjoying her time. Me here, I'm hard at work, just spending my time, a little time with you, and I'm finna go home, barbecue, and have me a brew, and do what I do. Let me catch a Laker game tonight or tomorrow, whenever they play. So, if you read Proverbs, and I recommend one proverb every day. There's 31 of them. There's 31 days of the month. 30. Just read one. It'll enrich your life. Israel, when they came out of Africa, North Africa, what we call Egypt, 40 years, the wilderness. And what did they want? No, they wasn't talking about the next life. They were searching for the land of milk and honey now. Even though culturally they understand that to be successful, you have to have a delayed satisfaction. That's why they very much, not all, but majority of them are financially okay because they have a system that works. But anyway, that 40 years being in the wilderness, well, I say to you, it's been 400 years. And when you're going to come out of that wilderness? Because the land of milk and honey is here and now. So just change your philosophies. That's not working. If it does work, keep it. If it doesn't, move on from it. Try somebody else's. If you have trauma, get over those traumas or seek therapy. And if one therapist don't work, there's plenty more. And that's great because we are having a surge in the black community that are going to therapists. Because as you see today, trauma is real in the black community. Also, togetherness and family and extended kinship. I'll say that again, extended kinship. Because our youth are trying to find their way. And as he was saying about the red and the blue, I remember when a lot of us was in church growing up. And what happened with that from the James Cain experience growing up, we went to gangs is because we had nothing else. The church wasn't really paying attention to us as youth. So we had to continue to find our satisfaction as youth in other ways. And it was a community thing. It's where you live. It wasn't people. No, we actually lived in these communities. Our families owned properties in these communities. So we stood up for one another. Now it's turned into something totally different. But that's in all communities because with the, you go to the Barrows of New York, same thing. You have Jamaican town, Korean town. You have all these towns. Somalians got a town. Everybody. Ethiopians got their. So everyone has it. But it's what you do within your own community that makes it great. So, as I always say, believe in yourself because we believe in you. And everyone out there putting out black awareness for the black American, believe in each other. I have this device on my phone, and it's for visually impaired people. And when I go through HBCU, sorry about that, HBCU, it always say HBC us. And I thought that was unique because it's historically how you see us. Historically, how blacks see us. Because no one else can make you feel the way you feel. It's up to you to be happy. And if you wake up happy, then who can make you unhappy? Always remember, you are your biggest enemy. If you stop letting your thoughts control your thinking, let's control our thoughts, why we think, and be who we are. So, as I always say in the end, if your life is not going right, restructure, refocus, regroup on what you have left. Thank you again, and see you next Saturday. This is the James K. Experience.
Miss your favorite show? Download the podcast at kcaaradio.com.
No, we're not talking about Bruno. We're talking about Mars Carpets. Mars Carpets of Loma Linda. Mars Carpets and Flooring puts the magic in your home. Getting a tax return? Well, we recommend you spend all your money in one place, on your home, because after you do, you'll still have all your money. Fast, friendly, and professional. Mars Carpets may be out of this world, but they keep their costs at ground level. Be it carpeting, hardwood floors, tile, stone, ceramic, laminate, or vinyl, Mars Carpets can provide all the magic with names like Alexandra Smith, American Showcase, Infinity, and Pet Defense Carpets too. Mars is also your local window fashion experts too. They're open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., Saturday until 4 p.m., and then they rest on Sunday to give their competition a chance. 24601 Redlands Boulevard in Loma Linda, near Tippecanoe. Just think Tippecanoe and Carpet 2. 909-792-7022. That's 909-792-7022. Their website, Mars Carpets.
Folks, it's Milan Vukovic from the Tahibo Tea Club. We just received our first shipment since the new tariffs, and because our tea is harvested deep in the Brazilian rainforest, we had to pay a 50% import tariff just to release it. Once we run out of our current inventory, prices will go up. Right now, you can still stock up at today's pre-tariff prices by calling us at 818-610-8088. 1 pound of original Pure Pau d'Arco Tahibo tea is $49.95, or take advantage of our multi-pack discounts such as buy 3 pounds, get 1 free. That's a 4-pack discount of 25% for $149.95, or buy 5 pounds, get 3 free. That's an 8-pack discount to 38% for $249.95. Stock up now. Call us at 818-610-8088 or visit TahiboTeaClub.com. That's 818-610-8088.
Give your car some attention and make sure it's shiny and bright at Miracle Mile Car Wash at 247 South E Street in San Bernardino. Hand washing and detailing. On Monday and Wednesdays, you can get an extra special deluxe wash for a great price. They have early bird specials every day from 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. You'll be amazed. Your car will not only shine bright, it may just run a little better too. Miracle Mile Car Wash at 247 South E Street in San Bernardino, just across the street from the Inland Empire 66ers Stadium. Shine bright today.
Are you looking for a good union job? The Inland Empire's 14,000-member-strong Teamsters Local 1932 has opened a training center to get working people trained and placed in open positions in public service clerical work and in jobs in the logistics industry. This is a new opportunity to advance your career and raise standards across the region. Visit 1932trainingcenter.org to enroll today. That's 1932trainingcenter.org.
NBC News Radio, I'm Rob Martier. The United States has carried out strikes against dozens of ISIS targets in Syria in recent days. Today, U.S. Central Command announced over 30 targets were hit by American airstrikes. The strikes aim to, quote, sustain relentless military pressure on remnants from the terrorist network. The search for the missing mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie continues this weekend. The Pima County Sheriff's Department says no arrests were made and no suspects are being detained after the FBI and local authorities executed a search warrant at a home near Nancy Guthrie's house in in the foothills of Tucson last night, and the FBI has doubled its reward in the case to $100,000. An American speed skater is making history at the Winter Olympics from Italy. Jordan Stolz broke the Olympic record in the men's 500-meter race today. His time of 33.77 seconds secured gold for the Stars and Stripes. Rob Martier, NBC News Radio.
NBC News on KCAA Loma Linda, sponsored